For Tuesday, February the 14th, 2017. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Calling the roll, Mr. Sharon.
Here.
Ms. Conwell.
Here.
Mr. Jones. Here. Ms. Brown.
Here.
Mr. Hairston.
Here.
Ms. Simon.
Here.
Ms. Baker.
Here.
Mr. Miller.
Here.
Mr. Tuma.
Here.
Mr. Gallagher.
Here.
And Council President Brady.
Here.
There is a quorum.
All right. Do we have any public comment related to the agenda? And just so everybody understands, the agenda has to do with the executive committee meeting that we are going to go into shortly.
Yes, Mr. President, there is one person who has signed in to speak, Mr. Anthony Liberator. If you'd step up to the microphone and hit the button that says push, state your name for the record.
Anthony Liberator. I am business manager of Laborers Local 860, and I want to, do I hold the button? We're good.
Oh, no, you can leave it go.
Thank you, Council, for allowing me to address the long overdue wage increases regarding two different bargaining units represented by Local 860 at the Juvenile Court. The negotiations for Local 860's bargaining units have been plagued by delays. First, the agreements expired on October 31st, 2015, and December 31st, 2016, respectively. The parties agreed to extend those contracts through the end of 2016 so the court could lobby this council for enough money to pay for long overdue equity increases. These equity increases are mandated by the court's own compensation study. The payment of general wages increases 2% and 2% in 2016 and 17, and step and equity increases in 2018. On January 4th, 2017, the parties met in what with the union had hoped to be the completion of negotiations. Unfortunately, it was reported to the union that the county executive, Armin Budish, rejected the parties' October tentative agreement and refused to provide the court with any authority to negotiate wages, equity increases, and step increases for the bargaining unit members. At that time, the county had claimed it was facing a $22 billion shortfall, I'm sure you're all aware of, due to the loss of the county's ability to tax managed care organizations. This was especially frustrating to the union because the county had known about this possible deficit since early August 2016. But yet this was the first time the union had heard about it, rejecting the tentative agreement reached by Local 860 in the court in October of 16. In an effort to get some money in the pockets of these Local 860 members, because it had been so long since they had seen a wage increase, the parties agreed to pay a 2% pay increase, retroactive back to the first pay period in January of 2016. As part of this agreement, the court agreed that the increase would be paid last Friday, retro paid in the second pay period of February 2017. The membership of Local 860 approved these retroactive pay increases on January 12, 2017. As part of the agreement, the county agreed to put this item on council's agenda back in January. No one has told us why or whom took it off the agenda. I'm here to remind this council and the court of the parties' agreement and to ask that Local 860's member be paid as agreed upon. The court gave back $1.1 million to the county, and two wages cannot be paid out of the 2016 budget. This is essential so the court and the county can address warranted step and equity increases in 2017 and 2018. The court and the county need to live up to their promises, treat their employees with the dignity and respect they deserve. The retroactive wages need increased to be paid immediately to all bargaining unit employees, and I thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Now to item 4, executive session. All meetings of the Cuyahoga County Council are open to the public under the Ohio Open Meeting Laws. Under that law, council may go into executive session during a meeting for specifically authorized purposes. During executive session, council confers outside of the hearing of the public. Council may not make any decisions about any matters in executive session. All decisions are made in public. This afternoon, the council's committee of a whole will go into executive session to discuss collective bargaining matters. During this time, our live stream will be down, and we ask all those not specifically needed for the executive session to remain in the council chambers. Council members will convene in the adjacent committee room A and will re-enter the meeting once the executive session is ended. Is there a motion to go into executive session for the purpose of discussing collective bargaining matters?
So move.
Been moved in second. Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Moving to executive session, Mr. Strawn,
Yes.
Ms. Conwell? Yes. Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Hairston?
Yes.
Ms. Simon?
Yes.
Ms. Baker?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Tuma?
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher? And Council President Brady?
Yes.
The ayes have
Motion
it.
carries.
Okay, thank you. The ayes have it. We will adjourn for the meeting of the executive session.